All right. Hello, everyone. Hopefully, you can all hear and see me okay. I'm in Las Vegas in a hotel, or actually not a hotel, but in a room here in Vegas, having a good old time. All right. So, who's going to have the best Halloween costume today? I know I came up a little short myself, but this is the best I could do for now. It's too bad Mr. McLean isn't on here. He usually goes all out for the costumes. So, all right, let's see here. Looks like we got our recording going. It is Halloween, 10/31, October 31. We're officially done with October now, which means we have exactly 2 months to the countdown for our year-end expose. So hopefully you guys are getting ready. Connie has stepped up to the plate to help anyone that needs help. Hopefully you guys are taking advantage of that. Because she is right there with you for anybody that like needs an accountability coach and just hammer you through and make you do it. Sometimes you just need a good kick in the butt. But anyway, oh my God, I just realized that is Janie Becker in costume. All right. I think you win so far. I don't know that anybody's going to beat you. Oh, that is awesome. So, anyway, anybody got anything they want to talk about today?
Yeah, John, I got a quick question.
All right,
I'm,
go for it.
I'm working with Connie and I'm trying to come up with something good for Black Friday. Now you mentioned that with Frank and AI, you're giving away something and then you're trying to upgrade these people to some kind of a purchase for Frank and AI. What
Correct.
what is it that you're giving away to get their name and address?
Okay. So in Franken AI, it's a software that if you buy like the Franken AI, I forget what it was called, but their bundle, they have
Right?
they have a bundle. You have the ability to give the software away as your own free giveaway.
Oh,
They also,
really? Oh, I didn't
yeah,
know that.
yeah, it's almost like a white label. You could white label it. I didn't go to the trouble. I just called it what it is, which is Franken AI, and I'm giving away the software licenses. So that's what I'm giving as the freebie for the lead magnet. So when people come onto my site, I offer them that software for free. They opt in, I give them a license key, and then when on the thank you page, I also give them the ability to upgrade the software to be able to do the same thing that I'm doing. So
Okay. So,
that's how I'm using it. I never really intended to use it as a money-making thing. I was using it as a lead gen thing.
yeah, and that's fine.
So, but you can make money on it. In fact, if you sign up for the affiliate program through JV Zoo, let's say you do the same thing I'm doing, and on your thank you page, you give them the links to upgrade, you can actually make the affiliate money through that. So there is a way to not only build your list giving it away, but get paid to do it.
So the basic product is what you can actually give away for free?
Yes. I wasn't, I was not under that impression when I first bought the product. I
No, I
thought I
wasn't
was,
either.
I thought I was able to give the full version away, which typically, like in a lot of the software, when you buy the white label resale licenses, in a lot of cases, you can actually give the same version that you purchased, which is what I thought. That's what I thought I was doing. Like if you notice, I had to change up my scripting for the web page, the landing page because of that. Because when I first put it out, I was putting it out as, you're getting the full version And I was like, somebody said, no, it's not working. And I went and looked at what they got from from my giveaway. And I'm like, oh shit, I got to change this up. So it was kind of a rude awakening, but then I thought, well, all right, whatever. It's still just a freebie. So it didn't diminish the fact that it was a good freebie because it has a high pull. It has a
Oh, for
very,
sure.
yeah, it has a very good opt-in rate. And, as long as you position it and don't be fraudulent about it, when I first put it out, it was, I was somewhat making a fraudulent claim because I thought it was something that it wasn't.
Yeah.
So I had to quickly like go back and backpedal and fix that.
Yeah,
But
they don't make that too obvious on their website.
yeah, they're a little misleading on that too.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
You could say that.
yeah, and I think the guy that does it, he's done a whole bunch of products just like that. And I think he got tired of letting people like, give away all of his stuff without making any money on it. So I think this is probably the point in time where he said, all right, enough of that. Let's change the game. But he didn't change his sales materials either. That's why I thought, what I was getting was a full giveaway.
Yeah. Okay,
And
great. I'll have to figure that one out. Thanks very much, Tom.
yeah, but the mistake, if you want to call it a mistake, it actually made me more money because of the way he did it. Because my intent was not to make anything at all. My intent was just give it away. It's a
Yeah.
lead gen, and then I'll push them over to Quantum or Acquisition Air or Act or, any of my other stuff. But the way it worked was there was a lot of people that got the freebie, landed on my thank you page, and actually upgraded. And, I made affiliate commissions that way.
Okay, great.
So I think Gina was the first one to jump in and go full bore, bought the bought the bundle, and thank you very much for that. That was put a little dime in my tip jar. So, but that's available for you guys. I don't know what the commission is offhand on that. I think it's probably around 40%. So whatever people buy, that's just money in your tip jar.
Hmm.
And there's a ton of products out there that have affiliate programs. You've got all of my affiliate programs, but you're not tied to me. You've got JVZoo, you've got ClickBank, you've got Commission Junction. There's a number of places that are, full warehouses full of stuff that people want you to sell for them. It's like I've been saying this since day one of where my sales come from. My sales all come, well, not all of them, but majority of my sales come from referrals. And I have been extraordinarily lazy about all of this. I have not put my products in any of the JV zoos or the ClickBanks or any of that. I just reach out, I find somebody that has my list or what I consider my list, like in SEO. All I had to do was find somebody that has a big SEO following and contact them and say, hey, I've got this software. I'll give you a free copy. You can try it out. You can be assured that it works. And then you can refer it to your following and you can make 50% on it. And they're like, when can I put you on a webinar? It's just that easy. I could have gone and taken that and put it in JV Zoo and probably had 100 times what I got. And, that sounds awesome, but I would have had to do some work. You guys know how I feel about that, right? Very anti-work. But, every time I think about it, I'm like, God, dog, why didn't I do that? It's not that difficult. I guess I'm just comfortable and complacent and happy doing what I'm doing. I don't really have to work that hard. So,
John, I have a follow-up question.
okay.
You're going to be doing the quantum uh, Black Friday thingy.
Yes.
Question. I've not seen it mentioned. It's not been talked about. I'm guessing it would be something you'd immediately say yes to. If people are buy the quantum, isn't it a logical thing then to say, oh, and because you're part of quantum, you can pay for my weekly calls and get on the coaching call we hear? Is that certainly, I would think
Yes.
that would be an obvious thing.
Yes, absolutely. And this goes to any product or any offer that you have. You've got what Ryan Dice calls it a value ladder. And it doesn't matter where someone comes in, it doesn't matter what they purchase, they should get dropped into your value ladder. And all that means, a value ladder is just your other products. Like they might drop in on the bottom rung, they might drop in on the middle rung, or they might drop in on the top rung. So, depending on where they drop in, you can either take them up or down the ladder to make more money. Like if they come in on the middle rung, there's no reason for you not to offer them a lower rung if that will help them. There's also no reason not to offer them an upper rung. Allow them to climb the ladder. They want to climb the ladder, they want to get to the top. So if they come in on the top, say, hey, there's a whole bunch of stuff you missed out on. You got in, you're in the right place, but I got a whole bunch of stuff that'll help you advance you. And then, you're just taking them down the ladder. So the ladder is awesome. The ladder is all about increasing your sales without increasing your customers. And this was a big hot topic for Frank Kern. Frank found that this really, really resonated with people because they're lazy like me. It's like, you don't have to do a bunch of work to go get a bunch of new customers. He said, you can make twice, three times, four times more money with the same customers you have without going out and getting any new ones, without doing sales calls, without doing cold calls, without all this other crap that you got to go through to get new customers. And, that falls back to the value ladder. He's basically talking about just have a conversation with who's already paying you about how they can pay you more. And I know it doesn't sound appealing, it doesn't sound comfortable, but if you have other stuff that will help them, why not? And even if you've got other people in relationships with you that have other stuff that will split that with you, why not introduce them? Doesn't have to be your stuff. I know a lot of guys that started out and they had a great idea and they found out how much effort it took to bring the idea to fruition. Like all the stuff you got to do to create a product and the marketing around it and the advertising and everything. It's a lot. It's not easy. If it was easy, everyone would do it, and we wouldn't have opportunity that we have. So that said, these people they got into it and they're like, oh shit, I don't want to do all this. Someone else already did this. All I have to do is promote them. They already made all the marketing materials for me. All I've got to do is promote them, and they're affiliates. So it goes back to my point of there's no reason that somebody or anybody can't make money in this space. You can't tell me you don't have a list. People. I know none of you sit in a box and don't have an address book on your phone and don't have an email list and all this stuff. Don't tell me you don't know anybody. That is your list. I can't tell you how many times I've heard somebody say, well, I don't have any opportunity. I don't have a list. That's a crock of shit. Y'all have a list. You know people. Next thing, what's the first thing that we do in ACT? We segment. So segment your list. Figure out who on your list is interested in what and put them into buckets. Look at the buckets and see which is the most profitable, which bucket has the biggest problem. And then you can either build the solution for them, create a product, or find somebody that has already done that and just introduce them, and you're making money. Making money is nothing more than finding someone that needs something and finding the thing they need and connect them, and you can make money. Whether you build the thing they need or you just find it. It's all you need to do. And the cool thing is the timeline. Because once you find someone, and I've talked about this a lot, lifetime value. If you guys aren't thinking about lifetime value, you are losing out on so much money, so much opportunity. It's crazy. Because I don't care what you sell or what you connect people to. When they get what they needed out of it, guess what? They need something else. We are creatures of consumption from the day we're born. And even after the day we die, we are creatures of consumption. Every day we consume. I mean, think about it. When was the last day you were conscious that you didn't consume? And even unconscious, you're still consuming IVs, right? Every day of your life, you're consuming. Somebody's making money on that consumption, right? If you don't see that, you're blind to opportunity. The bigger the consumption, like the bigger the problem causes massive consumption. The biggest dollar tickets on consumption is solving problems. The bigger the problem, the bigger the ticket. Like, what's the bill if you have to have a triple bypass? That's a big ass problem, right? You're very motivated to solve the problem. You're not really in a position to negotiate. That's a very expensive problem. So that's to my point. The bigger the problem, the more you're going to make.
FYI, John, triple bypass is six figures.
Yeah.
It's mid to high six figures. Guess how I know?
And how much does it actually really cost them? Think about it. Think about what it actually costs them. I believe, and I don't know for sure, I'm not a doctor, but from what I've heard, they're pulling the veins out of your leg to put them into your heart. So they're using your parts. How much did that cost them? I mean, in six figures for them to pull a couple parts out and reassemble them and put you back on the shelf. It's the problem that caused the price tag, not the cost of goods. So if you guys can solve a big problem with a low cost of goods, you will make a shitload of money. I use all kinds of wild analogies to get my points across. This is the first time I've used this one. And, hopefully it's impactful. Sometimes I'll say something in a different way and then somebody will get it that didn't get it before. But this is an extreme example. You got to look for the bigger problems. When you're segmenting your buckets and you're looking at, okay, what problems is in this bucket? versus what problems is in that bucket. Who's going to pay more? You can repackage the exact same product and charge more for it. They do this all the time. This happens everywhere. I mean, this happens. Look at, when was the last time you went into a drugstore? Like, I went in for Visine. I'm out in Vegas and it's dry as crap out here. My eyes were killing me. So I go into I think it was a CVS, and I asked the person, I said, "Where's the Visine?" Because that's what I associate as eye drops. And he said, "Oh, it's aisle 27." So I go down aisle 27, and here is a rack wider than my wingspan of eye drops. And I'm like, and the prices are all over the board. It went anywhere from $3.99 up to $39, all for the same looking eyedropper. I start reading the ingredients. They're identical. Identical ingredients, just different packaging. And guess what? The fancier the package looked, the higher the price tag. The bigger the claims, the higher the price tag. But it's the same shit in the bottle. Is it going to do anything different? It's not, there's no magic in one versus the other. That's called marketing. You're marketing to them, and they hit different segments. They had the one that was for itchy eyes, and the one was for red eyes. And then they had the one where they marked it for allergy eyes. Guess what? The allergy eyes was 3 times the price of the red eyes or the itchy eyes. So they're taking those people that are associating their problem with an allergy, thinking it's a bigger problem, thinking they need to pay more to solve it. Think about that. That's awesome. That is just an incredible concept, and it's going on in everyone's mind. How many people do you think look at the bottles and compare and see that, they're all the same shit? I can buy the $3.99. I don't need the $29.99. But the marketers, how much money they make by just doing their segmentation, just doing their market analysis. How do you think they figured that out? They did analysis. If you look at like ad agencies, the first thing an ad agency will do is they'll put together a study group. They call them study groups. They'll invite a bunch of people in, sit them around a table, and question them. And they're basically learning. They're polling the audience. And they don't take random samples of people either. They have very specific people sitting at the table. They're the people that are in the bucket that they're analyzing. They're not just throwing random people around the table. And this is what I see happen in mastermind groups. You're putting a bunch of random people around a table and asking them for advice. You're not going to get the right answers. You have to pull your specific target group. If you're going to ask the questions, you've got to get the answers from who you're going to sell to. Right? That's really important. So, Teresa, go ahead.
Thank you, because I have to leave early. I apologize.
No problem.
And I came in late, so maybe this was answered. But I have a question about the 2 tiers of affiliate links that
Okay.
you gave us all. Okay. I expect that some of the people that I am approaching will want to become affiliates. So
Yeah.
do I just give them the sub-affiliate link? So when they become affiliates, I collect on the back end of theirs? Or do I start as at my affiliate link, and then when they become an affiliate, I get to go down to the next affiliate, the sub-affiliate level.
Okay, so the only way that you can assign them under you so you get a commission on their sales
Okay,
is if you give them your JV broker link.
okay.
It's specifically in Kartra, it's called a JV broker link.
Mhm.
So when you go to the links in any product, you go to the links button and there'll be two big boxes. There'll be your links
Yeah.
and your JV broker link.
Okay.
The JV broker link is just a single link, and all it does is it sends them to sign up to be an affiliate.
Oh, okay.
It's not the link for them to purchase that product. It's the link for them to sign up for my affiliate program under you.
Okay.
So you become their broker.
Okay.
And
So
as
if I send them my pure affiliate link and they decide that they want to become an affiliate, they drop off of my list.
unless they go through your broker link. So here's what you should do. You
Okay.
should first send them the affiliate link, because if you send them the broker link, what they're going to do is they're going to sign up and then they're going to go purchase the product through their own link. Everybody does it. It's against the terms of everyone's affiliate program, but I don't really care. I don't police that. And it's back to the thing. I let people feel like they're taking advantage of me. I'm fine with it. I don't really care. And in some cases, people will make the purchase that wouldn't have made it otherwise. It's like there is a lot of people, believe it or not, there's a lot of people that won't purchase from you unless they feel they're getting the upper hand.
Yep.
It's a negotiation tactic. And if I allow them to do that in a stealth manner where it's non-confrontational, I get another layer of level of people. The ones that want to do it, but they're too shy. They're non-confrontational. It's a very large pool of people, by the way.
Mm.
So I do that by design. So, but anyway, back to the thing. I would send them the regular link so you get your full affiliate commission from that person.
Right.
And then right after they buy, you'll see when they purchase, you'll get an email from me that says you just made an affiliate commission.
Okay.
That should trigger you to send your JV broker link to that person.
Mhm.
Say, hey, thanks for signing up. It's really cool. I'm signing a bunch of people up making money from this. Here's the link if you want to do the same thing. I'll help you. I'll help you through it. I'll help you do what I'm doing so you can make more money and put it in your pocket.
Got it.
It's value ladder.
Mhm.
You're now stepping them up in the value ladder.
Excellent. Thank you very much, John.
Yeah,
That's
yeah, absolutely.
very helpful.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Anybody else got questions or direction you want me to go other than Halloween related?
Oh, John, I want to ask you something. Have you tried doing a broadcast with Kartra this week?
I did one just a couple of days ago.
Because I sent out 3 yesterday and it registers as nobody, like they disconnected the list somehow or another. I've got a support ticket in for it, but I was wondering if you had the same problem. Anybody else had the same problem?
I haven't. Mine
Yeah.
are what you might check when you go to do the broadcast. There's a bunch of different tabs now. You might just check to make sure how many people you're sending the broadcast to.
Yeah, I did that and I did another one and I went in and checked and tried to change the group it was going to, and it still showed, even though I chose a group with 86 people into it, it showed 0 people it was going to. And I'm like, that's weird.
Yeah, yeah. Something's
Something's not right, and I'm trying to figure out how to fix it. So I got like I said, I got a support ticket now just to see if anybody else had the problem.
Okay. I have not heard of that one. And like I said, unless it was yesterday, I think when did I send the broadcast out to you guys? Was it yesterday? That was the last one I sent, either yesterday or the day before.
Yeah, yesterday, October 30.
Yeah.
Yeah, it came yesterday.
So it was, if yours was after that, maybe it's a new problem. But if it was before yesterday, then it hasn't been a problem for me.
Yeah, it was after that. I sent the first one out at 8 a.m. my time yesterday, the second one at 11 a.m. my time, and the third one at 1 p.m. And all three of them. Not one person got the email.
Oh, interesting. I would be interested to see what they say about that, what the problem was. And by the way, just so you guys know, I really thought I was gonna dislike Cartro because they were gonna make me go through a learning curve. I haven't felt at all like it has been a learning curve with their new version. Um, I find it easier. There's been a couple of times where I have to go like, where is something? Like for instance, when I send a broadcast, there's no broadcast button. It's under the marketing tab. So, and then the tags and stuff are under the contacts. So it's just kind of a shift around in their navigation. But outside of that, the way all of the modules and stuff work, it's so much faster and smoother to work and jump around and get stuff done in there. It's been really, really cool. Great update from their end. The only thing I'm still not happy with is their way that they're doing their affiliate program. I really am not too happy with that one. So, and also their pricing structure of removing the affiliate off the low tier. I think that is a big, big mistake. And I've voiced my opinion very strongly on that one. All right. Anything else? What other stuff do we need to cover here? How are you guys doing on your Black Friday stuff? Anybody getting closer or I guess a better question is how many people just haven't done it yet?
Hey, Joan, I've got a question on the Black Friday stuff.
Okay,
This
sure.
is Gwen.
Yeah, hi Gwen.
Um, I'm looking at doing it for the quantum AI,
Okay.
and I was looking on your website and it looked like our login disappeared for resellers. So I don't know if you were working on it or what happened, but I was like,
Oh,
how do I
gotcha.
get to it?
You
So
mean
I wanted to snag some of your logo and icon for it to put together my sales funnel for it.
okay. So the link that you're looking for, I'm pretty sure is in the footer. It's the link that says become an affiliate. And as far as my site, for any of you guys that are trying to navigate my Internet Dominator site right now, it is in flux.
That's what I found out.
To say the very least, it's in flux. I don't know if it was well, yeah, it was a bad idea for me to do it the way I did. Usually for clients, if we're going to redo a client site, we'll do it on a staging server until it's all right, and then we'll go live with it. I, for some reason, told my team, just work on it live. I don't want to go back and forth. So when they did that, they are working on it live, and it's a disaster. It's not really ready for prime time yet.
No, I always duplicate mine, and then I rechange the duplicate in the background, and as I change it, I switch the duplicates out. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I like I said, for clients, yeah, we do that.
Yeah.
We would never do for a client what I did to myself.
Well, I mean, I took mine because it's like mine had so much information on my Tim Gillette page, and I just wiped it clean and made
Yeah.
a whole brand new clean. This is only the three things we do type thing. And it's like, you talk about doing the background for clients, but my own site, it's like, okay, I don't never have time to work on my own site.
Yeah. I mean, I do this. I always talk about this too in the year-end deal. I always reevaluate. Okay, what was I doing that I shouldn't be doing? And I added, year before last, I added a whole bunch of services that were related to SEO right before I got out of SEO, like speed optimization and, meta tag, all the funky tags that nobody pays attention to, a whole bunch of stuff. And I had vendors in place to do all that stuff, but it was just kind of hidden on the site, never really promoted or anything. So it's just a bunch of garbage. If you got into the site, it was just taking you down a bunch of rabbit holes. And then somebody would randomly order one of these services, and then I'd have to go and figure out, oh shit, who do I send that to get it done? So again, it's not optimal. It's not an optimal use of my time or my team's time to have all this little crap that doesn't do anything. So that's part of the cleanup. We're just getting rid of all that stuff. And we're going to focus on the stuff that we should have been focusing on for the last year, the stuff that is really hot and opportunistic. I'm telling you guys, if you haven't got into the bots, you're really missing the boat. There's a massive opportunity to add bots to people's websites. It's huge. The opportunity is massive. It's like this is in the beginning when everybody needed a website and nobody knew how to do it. It was a place where you could make so much money so fast, so easily before the water got bloody. And that's where we are with bots right now. People are hearing about it. They're very useful. To have a bot on your site at no cost. It's like having a person. It's like putting a customer service person in place at no cost and having them 24/7 to answer questions. Like the bots that I have one bot and it's on the acquisition air page, the Becky bot, and she's actually making sales. She's making money for me. So, I mean, she's not making a ton of sales because I'm not sending a ton of traffic to her. But if I were, she would be. She's just sitting there waiting to help somebody make a purchase. I mean, how cool is that? 24/7. Now, the idea of that, how many people would want that even if they didn't have any traffic on their site? They would want it. It's a high demand product. All you have to do is explain it. Explain how it works and say, wouldn't you want this on your site? I can build the bot for you. Believe me, nobody wants to build their own bot. They don't want to go through the learning curve. You guys have software to do it for you. You can build a bot in about 10 minutes. I even made a quantum tool to create the personality for the bot for you. So the quantum tool, there's a Build a Becky tool in quantum now. It will build the personality of your bot, and it will even create their image, the image prompt to create the person's image. And then after that, all you have to do is load it up with the training, which is their training documents, their FAQ, whatever questions need to be answered by the bot. You just load that up, and now you have a personality and a training combined into one bot. The personality really makes the bot not seem like a bot. And when I did mine, I made her very flirtatious. So guys actually think they're talking to a girl. And, I look at the transcripts and it cracks me up. It's almost entertainment value to go in and read the chat from the people chatting with Becky. I'm like, this is really interesting. So that is, and that doesn't make a male or female thing. If you've got female clientele, they would probably like a very attractive young gentleman to talk to them. And you could have the same exact thing. You could make him flirtatious. You could make him interesting. You could give him the personality that they will, they'll be drawn to. And then when he creates a relationship with them and makes a recommendation, guess what? You just made a sale. Your bot just made a sale for you because you built the right mousetrap. That's what marketing is. You're building a mousetrap. So if you're going to trap a mouse, you got to figure out first, what do they like to eat? Where are they? What environment will they readily go into? You don't put a mousetrap in the middle of the room. The mouse is too timid to go out there and be out with all that space around them. They're freaked out. You just don't do that. You put it in a little dark crevice where they feel comfortable. Your customers are your mice. That's where your analysis comes from. What do they like? Where are they? What makes them comfortable? That's what you're doing. So if you don't value the analysis process, you're going to lose. You're going to lose at the game of business. If you look at the most successful companies, they're that successful because they value the analysis, which really comes down to they value their customers. Their customers are worth getting to know them. That's really what it comes down to. If your customers aren't worth you getting to know, then you probably need to focus on some different customers. Like, I got to tell you, I've found a few customers this last couple of weeks that I'm going to just say I don't want. I just flat do not want. And I have given them their money back and put a ban on them in Karcher. They can't buy anything from me. I haven't done that in a very long time. And the reason is it's because and they're coming in for quantum, and it's people that just have no business even probably being online. Like somebody that doesn't know how to put their email address in, places an order with a bogus email address, and then just blows up support calls every number they can call because they can't get into their account. Oh, hell no. and wants to blame it on everyone but themselves. And then you fix it and they do it again. Uh-uh. Not for me, not worth my time. And you're going to find that you're going to have segments of your audience that like how much of my time is it worth for a $47 a month thing? Right? Or even for the multiple people it touches, the chaos it creates. Like Connie's the nicest person on earth, and she's even come to me a couple of times and said, I don't know if we should even be dealing with this person. We won't name any names. There's nobody here. These are all people that we have thrown to the wolves. But the lesson here is you don't want to take on everybody. And if you take on somebody that's not the right person and they are causing you a pain in your ass, don't be afraid to let them go. There's no rules or ties that says you have to serve anyone. I know you've seen this. If you go into a lot of food places, there's a sign on the wall that says, "We reserve the right to refuse service." There's a reason for that. They don't want certain people in their establishment because they'll poison the environment. They'll absolutely poison it and drive the good customers away. So I know that sounds a little harsh, but it's true. And not only will it poison your customers, it will eat you alive. You will have a sick feeling in your gut. And believe me, if you go to sleep at night thinking about a problem customer, they shouldn't be in your life. You should not ever put your head on the pillow with that kind of problem in your life. Jim, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just wondering if you could go into a little more detail and share some ideas on what resources we can use to train a bot, because that seems overwhelming to me.
Okay.
The ideas that I have in my head are I could take the contents of my books, I could take my YouTube channel, my website with blogs, service pages, and that would answer a lot of questions.
Yeah.
The frequently asked questions page.
Yeah, the frequently asked questions is going to be the biggest thing. Now, keep in
Mm,
mind you got two factors to training a bot. You have the personality factor, and then you've got the technical factor. So the technical factor, I think, is what you're asking about of how to get them to answer the questions right. And there's nothing better than that to keep a running log of every question that all of your customers and prospects have ever asked. If you load that up, and you can just keep that in a basic Word document, you can even make it a voice file and you can convert it to a document. If you load that up, now she's got all the answers to all the questions you've ever experienced.
okay.
And for the most part, like most people, unless you're in something really, really technical, there's a very limited number of real questions that you'll ever get. And they're all the
Okay.
same. They keep repeating over and over.
Yeah, that helps me narrow it down. Thank you.
Yeah. That's really all you need. I mean, if you've done technical data or you've done training, like let's say you did a 3 hour webinar, a master class or something where you're training people on specific stuff and you want people to be able to ask questions about that. You may not want your bot to give out too much information about what you're trying to sell. So be careful with training them with too much of your proprietary stuff. And it might be, you might want different bots for different things. Like, for instance, you might want a sales bot that answers the pre-sale questions. And they don't have all the technical data. Like if somebody starts asking questions that they should be paying for that, you don't want that bot to be able to answer because it will. So you want to train a different bot for people that have already purchased. In that bot, you can train that bot with your proprietary training. You can send that bot through your master class so it knows everything you know. So that way, your customers, when they ask those questions, the bot can take that off your shoulders. So think about the bots as actual people. If you want to replace yourself, then in a training aspect, and I shouldn't say that, I shouldn't say, replace yourself because most of us operate on a level where we wear multiple hats in our business. We know how to answer pre-sales questions. We know how to answer technical questions. You need to separate that out as though it's employees.
Okay.
So do it that way. Separate them out as to what that bot should know and who should access that bot.
Yeah, I'll try with one and then see how it works
Yeah.
and how it's set up and then expand from there.
Yeah, like a perfect scenario is to create a bot that goes inside your membership site. Like usually when I sell a product, you'll notice the product has a membership area in Kartra. And that is for the training, that's for all the stuff behind the scenes that they should have access to once they purchase. And that's where, and I will eventually do this. I'll create bots for each product that I sell. Like I'll have a quantum bot that will answer any questions for a quantum customer.
Ah, gotcha.
that information won't necessarily be available to somebody that hasn't purchased yet. The bot on the pre-sale will have a different tack to it. That makes sense?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Like for instance, the pre-sale bot would tell you about all the things it will do, but the support bot will show you how to do it.
Okay. Yeah, so like training.
Yeah.
Cool.
Like,
I gotta run, John. Sorry.
okay, no problem.
Thank you very much.
Glad I got that for you because that's important, especially if you're going to build these for other people.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like tell your customer, hey, I can build you 3 bots. I can give you 3 employees. One to do your sales, one to do your customer support, one to do your technical support.
Awesome. I'll play with the quantum first and then collect the frequently asked questions and answers.
Awesome. Cool.
All right. Thanks, John.
Yeah, absolutely. Richard.
Yeah, I was rooting around in quantum. Thank you for setting up the keyword thing. I haven't quite gotten to that yet because I was a little earlier in the process. I wanted to give you a heads up. You might want to check that get it local leads, whatever it was that's in there, because I said, okay, well, let's see if the local leads thing does it. And I followed the instructions, and every lead that came back was bogus. The address was made up, the email was made up, the business may have been in there, but it was not. Several of the businesses were in different states, and so it's really behaving very badly in there. So you might want to check that out. It's not very good. So
yeah, it's basically that tool. I forget what that was set up for, but all of those tools are they're pulling public records, they're pulling public data. So it's not going to be like those shouldn't really be looked at as lead gen tools.
well, I got the impression, and maybe this is completely wrong, but that it was you were setting it up for somebody that was looking for local real estate leads or something like that. And but anyway, even the company, all the information other than the company information is wrong, and about half of that is wrong. If you're actually trying to do a local search of some kind. So I just thought you wanted a heads up on checking that.
Yeah. There's been several people have asked for like little specialized tools like that. And I can build a tool in quantum to do anything. But when you're looking at AI is really looking at what available data is public. It's not like our acquisition air tool. Our acquisition air tool is very different. That one's actually looking at user behavior. It's monitoring user behavior. And then it's going and diving in and trying to find their contact information from a single source using big data. So it's purchasing the data. So it's much higher quality of information. And we're working on even increasing the quality of that information as we grow as well. So, but yeah, the tools inside quantum, some of them I should probably actually just remove because of that. So, but to do research, the tools that work really good in there are the ones that are all developed around ACT to do the analysis. I was thinking, Todd Brown is putting a new playbook out this week about how to do a unique mechanism. And he's really good at this stuff. So what I was going to do, I was going to break down the formula and build a tool to create unique mechanisms. And I know in the big idea tool, it's got that built in. It creates the promise, the unique mechanism, and then the unique way to say it. But for anybody that wanted to just create unique mechanisms, this is an important factor in your marketing because when you're making claims, if you're not appealing to the mind, remember you seduce the heart with the promise, but then you have to convince the head with the facts. And there's nothing better than a unique mechanism to convince the head of, oh, okay, I can see how they're delivering on this. That's a big thing, because the first point in a relationship, whether it's like a meeting of the first time in a prospect scenario, the first time they sniff bullshit, they're gone. You don't get a chance to recover. That'll be a nosedive that takes you right to the ground. So having a unique mechanism attached to any promise is really, really key to them not sniffing that bullshit. You know, it's like putting a big fan next to it, blowing the smell in different directions so they don't catch it. Because I know some of the claims would be a little smelly, you know, so you got to make sure that that smell doesn't get to their nostrils or they're gone. And that's where a unique mechanism comes in. It removes the odor. It's an odor eater. So that's I should create an infographic on that. That would be a cool way to present that. Having too much fun over here on Halloween with all these ideas. So, all right. Well, enough of my smelly analogies. So,
John, I've been sitting here wrestling for most of the call whether or not to raise my hand on this, because I'm not sure, because what I'm doing is a little bit contrarian, and I didn't know if you would want me to even voice that here or not. So I'm going to ask permission if I should do that, or just tell you after the fact rather than ahead of the fact.
oh, I'm all right with it.
My earliest training in direct sales goes back many, many decades. And as I think I mentioned before, my wife actually worked for Gary Halbert.
Yeah.
And so our training has been all in the Gary Halbert silo, I guess you would call it, because one of the things he said, because like when I showed you my letter, and the first thing you did is you saw it was 3 pages, and you immediately would say, I'm going to hang up the phone, or whatever it was your comment was, which I understand. But Gary has a position is you can't be too long, you can only be too boring.
Yeah.
If you're with the right person, they'll read a book. I mean, look at how many people have gotten a Publishers Clearinghouse. Most of them go in the mail, but anybody that's in the Publishers Clearinghouse, they're going to open that envelope and they're going to cover their kitchen table with all the stamps and all the things that they have to interact with and that sort of thing. And I also realized that the one thing that Gary says, he says, whenever you're putting together a mailing, put yourself in the mindset, you get one chance, you get one letter. In his case, it's all hard copy rather than email, but it mostly translates to email. He says, you only get one letter, and if you don't make a sale, you die. And the letter I gave you wasn't good enough. So I went back and retooled it, and my value ladder has 6 steps, and the first one's free, and every level goes up $500 a month. The top level is $2,000 a month, where they get the whole enchilada, and everyone builds on the next. Everything expands and works out. I'm going after the home services contractors, and unlike what I heard you say, it may not be what you were trying to say, but on the last call, was that, just add more products or add more products. Alex Hermogi on the other side of that says, one product, one message, one delivery tool, 1 year, then choose. And so I'm at the 1 year mark. I've got my delivery. I've got the thing, and I'm leading with one of the biggest problems home contractors have is answering all those after hours calls. Because if you're a home contractor, you're up at 5 on the job site at 7 in the morning. You're at the job site till 7 at night. So when do you answer customer calls unless you have extra staff? And so it get the whole after hours thing. So I have a voice bot that I'm giving away to them that will answer all their after hours calls. It'll answer their questions. It'll qualify them. It'll set an appointment. and it'll send them an SMS with all their contact information, the appointment information, and I'm giving it away free for a year. I figure that if anybody's having any problem answering their phone, to get an answering service, you can't get one for a business for less than $200 or $300 a month. So I'm saying here it is free for a year. First off, that gives me a year to have them in. I can be in their face for a year. So I got that. And the second thing is, the second step is now we add the second half to that, which is, oh, then we can have the robot call before the appointment, make sure they're there. And if they're there, then it'll live transfer the call back to the business owner. That way the business owner gets a message that you may have an appointment, and they get a text saying it's the appointment, the call's transferred, or they didn't show, in which case the guy didn't have to waste any time with a no-show. And the calls are only booked during time when he's there. And then after that, it goes to adding the acquisition, air site leads, search leads, and it builds all the way up. And the fifth level is $2,000 a month, where they're buying acquisition air leads from me and that sort of stuff. So I'm sure that's going to go more, but I figured, okay. And I'm not doing it via email. I'm sending out 70 hard copy emails tomorrow. So they're going to get a hard copy, John, of that email that I sent you. I'm going to get 70 of them. And then what I'm going to do is follow up manually by the phone with 70 people, because I don't have a list to talk to. So I'm going to use that as an opportunity. I have now 70 people I can call and find out if it's a good idea, if it's a bad idea, what the real things are. I'm going to be doing a whole additional market research capacity while I'm talking to them. And I just know that whenever you go to somebody and you're selling them how to set appointments, the next question they're going to say, when you say, here's the cookie, like you say, the next thing they're going to want is a glass of milk.
Yeah.
And if I give them a way of capturing leads, the next thing they're going to want is leads. And that's the next level up.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing that, and I'm going to give them a break. The first guys, I'm going to give a break on even the first level, because the first level is normally $1,000 a month, which is cheap, because that's one phone call is worth, $3,000 to $5,000, one customer a month. So all I get is one customer a month, and I can cover any costs they have. So I used Frank Kern had a great model of his outrageous offer letter. If you ever seen Frank Kern's outrageous offer letter.
Yeah, it gives you everything.
That's exactly, yeah. I just tweaked it a little bit to give them, a free service that would cost them a couple of $1,000s a year, given it to them free. And I got a year to work on them and get research and do all that sort of stuff. So I'm kind of accountability here in that you can start as of next week. I'll have had those letters out there and made a few calls, and hopefully I can bring somebody on board. So
yeah,
from there, that's something that I can, once it's up and running, John, I figure out a way to make $1 million a month in my underwear or at the kitchen table sitting at my laptop, because it is all AI run front to back, with Benson writing the emails. Once I've got if it's a plumber, I write it for the first plumber, and it's all initial outreach emails, so they don't need to be changed. The customer acquisition emails don't. So once it's set up, it literally is entirely run by AI. And so, guys, it is possible to do it. Yeah, I'll grant you it took me a year to figure out how to put all the pieces together, but all the pieces are out there and you can do it, and it's getting easier and easier to do. So the first thing I'm offering out of the gate is a bot, and it's bots all the way up.
Yeah, yeah. So like all the stuff that you had said from the different players that you had mentioned, they're all right in the right context. Like the long sales letter, that's not a wrong thing to do, but it's got to be in the right context. Remember, I referenced putting the mouse trap out in the middle of the room where the mouse is not going to go. Well, for me, that's putting the mouse trap out in the middle of the room for me. It's not going to catch me. Doesn't mean it won't catch someone else. And this is the important thing. The other thing that Gary said was, it's not too long, you have to make the sale. But if you're going to use a long tail letter, you've got to format it in a way that it's comfortable for somebody like me. That in a long form letter, I am what's called a scanner, a skimmer or scanner, not a scammer, a scanner. So what I'll do is I will scan the page. And in scanning the page, if I can't make sense of it, you've got just a matter of seconds before you lose me. If I scan the page and you've got the bold that says the story, and I gave that example last week with the letter that Brady did from Benson, and I went through and NLP'd it. And I said, look at the bold. If you just read the bold letters, you get the whole story without reading, 8 paragraphs.
Yeah, John, I set that up. I took that model to heart. It was really helpful because I was in the editing phase. So if you read nothing but there's 3 pages, there's 4 places where there's 16-point type. If you read nothing but the 16-point type, you get the whole thing. If you scan the letter and read just the bold, it does the same thing. And if you can read the letter, then it does the same thing. So I really appreciated that reminder because, with a master's level in certification in NLP, I should know this stuff, but it's always good to be reminded when you brought it up. And so, I did that.
And if you want to really master long page sales letters, go back to the masters of them, like the Dan Kennedys, the Gary Halberts. What you'll notice if you really pick it apart, what you'll notice is there's a lot of headlines. There's almost like a headline and then a short, maybe 1 or 2 paragraphs before you get the next headline. The idea there is if that headline doesn't grab them, they don't read those 2 paragraphs. They jump to the next one. If that headline grabs them, then they dig in and read. If the next headline doesn't grab them, they skip it to the next one. That's how you can get someone to consume a long sales page. And if you don't do it right, it's like, and that's where, like, these guys are really good. Gary Halbert is like the top of his game at doing. I don't know that he's necessarily at the top of his game at teaching, at telling you how he did it, why he did it, how you can do it. They're not doing that. And neither is advertising. That's why I created ACT, so you guys could understand what they're doing so you can do it. Because if you just copy someone and you don't know what they did and why they did it, copying might not work in your favor. In fact, it might defeat you really quickly. If you don't understand what they did and why they did it, and you've got a different scenario and you try and copy that and use it, you could shoot yourself in the foot real easy. That's why it always rolls back to analysis, figuring out who you're talking to, what's important to them, and building this stuff custom for your audience.
Yeah, that's absolutely true, John, because if you don't know why somebody did what they did, copying it will actually shoot yourself, not in the foot, but straight in the head. It's at least merciful because it'll kill you right away. But you're right. It's got to do all those sort of things. The way that seems to work that I pulled out of Gary Halbert, because I've got all of this stuff from working, all the stuff. And basically the way that you do it is your headline poses a question and your next sentence answers that question, which creates another. So each sentence tells them information, opens a loop or 2, and then the next sentence. So every sentence they read leads them absolutely to the same sentence. So at the bottom of the sentence, it goes through all this stuff and it says, and here's the deal, but they got to turn the page to see what the next thing is. Each page at the end, you can't not turn the page if you've actually read the last sentence in the page. And all that stuff has to be built in. And that takes a hell of a long time to, like you'd like to say, engineer that sort of stuff. So the whole ACT program is absolutely critical and crucial. There's no way I would ever in any way say that that's not critical. That underlies it all. That is the foundation for sure.
And whether you're talking about a long tail page or a webinar or whatever, what we're really talking about here is your presentation. This is your sales presentation. It's what we're talking about. The form it comes out in doesn't matter. It's the words in sequence that are going to be delivered. You might deliver them in a long tail sales page. I might deliver them in a webinar. Tim might deliver them in a video, and Gina might deliver them off the stage. But it's the presentation. It's engineering that sequence of building their demand, creating demand and desire. And the first thing, this follows the ACT formula exactly, is the first thing every time. Grab attention. That's your headline. The next thing, create demand and desire. That's your first paragraph. Next paragraph, eliminate objection. And then offer, which in your presentation, don't go right to the offer yet. Go back to the next grab attention. And do that as many times as you have to cover all the steps you need to cover before you make the presentation, or more before you make the offer, rather. So the bigger the ticket, the more of those you're going to have to do, because it's like you're building a court case. If it's a small court case and it's just, easy cut and dry, you can do it in one shot. If it's a very convoluted, long court case and, the verdict is going to be the matter of life or death, you want to do those till you're just blue in the face and you're out of it, because this could mean your life or your death. And in our case, it means the life or death of a sale. If this is a big sale and you need one a year, you want to make sure you get that one a year. If it's a little one and it's ancillary and, it's easy come, easy go, you can wing it. Make it short and sweet, right to the point, take it or leave it. It's like, it's not worth my time to try and convince you of something you might not need.
I'll tell you, John, one of the critical things that really helped me clarify it is one of the other things you said is, what one problem are you going to solve? And I realized I really boiled it down, what is, and because I will tell you right now, those bots are not easy to train. It's not easy to get them to do exactly what you want them to do. And so I said, okay, what is the one thing that the robot can do every time? And I've got it doing right now successfully. What's that one thing? What's the cookie I can give them so that they want the glass of milk? And I figured, given how big a problem after hours calls are for contractors because of the way they operate, having been one for years and operated adjacent to them for half a century, I have some experience in that. So I was really writing to myself, and it was real easy for me to actually sit on both sides of the table and catch things. But yeah, so get it down to what one thing, what cookie can you offer them so they want a glass of milk? That's a really critical thing that really help focuses the mind, is how do you give them the solution to half the problem and give it away?
Yeah. And the other thing too, I would advise against the scenario you threw out of giving them a year to decide on something. I would rethink that.
I thought about it long and hard, but it cost me nothing.
No, it does. It costs you a lot. What it's costing you is it's giving them a year to fail. That's a long time to fail to decide they're not going to move forward with you.
I figured that the longer your guarantee, the less likely you are to ever have to fulfill on a guarantee. That's why when you have the ultimate one is cancel anytime, the other one is an incredibly long period. And if you're answering their phone calls after hour and they get one call in a year, they've still gotten a free customer. So
are they purchasing the year?
No, the year, this is the outrageous offer to the first 5. These aren't even beta testers, John. These are alpha testers. These people are going to be essentially allowing me to test my robot and work out the kinks in my robot. And so I figured I better give it to them free. I better give it to some value. And I will tell you, like, one of the things that you said when we had our private call is very, very true. When you were doing SEO, yeah, you were getting big dollar SEO, but you turned down 9 out of 10 people. I figure I'm going to do the same thing because I'm not going to take anybody on board that doesn't immediately ask me where do we have leads so I can take them to the next level so they come on board at level 2, not just the free level. Eventually, I'm going to give it away, and it'll probably be for 30, 60 days or something like that for some period of time if I'm not going to qualify them as hard as I'm qualifying these people.
Yeah.
But I'm only going after 5 people, and I'm not going to take them on board unless they're clearly on the verge, if not demand the leads out of the gate, which takes them to level 2, which is a paid level. So,
Well, my theory about if something doesn't work in the real world, it's not going to work in the online world. Can you show me where somebody has done what you're talking about successfully?
no, because the AI robots haven't existed up to this point. But right now, I do know that Pat Live and Callfire and a whole, because I've used 2 or 3 of these answering services, and they're all breathtakingly expensive. And all they will do is the next random caller gets a script up in front of them. They read the script and they take a message, and that's all they do. The minute that you do anything other than take a message, it immediately goes up to $100 a call. And I'm giving them $100 calls for free.
Yeah,
And
that's why I'm asking. Where have you seen that be successful?
in my
And,
mind,
and I know this is a new technology, but there's nothing new in the world. This is just a new delivery of something. So
yeah, that's what I'm figuring. And I know that it's new, but I have a thought that the AI is such a buzzword at this point, and everybody wants it, but nobody's too sure about it. Give it away. And if I'm qualifying so hard that I know that the person that I'm going to give this to is a person who's already asked me for the leads that's the next level up, then I'll take them on, because I don't talk. There's nobody that I'm not going to have a long conversation with in order to see if they qualify or if I can help you.
my challenge to you is you just show me a person that's still breathing that has an attention span of a year for anything.
Oh, they won't, but I'll be talking to them once a week for the whole year because I'll have support calls available and I'll be mail. I mean, they're going to get. I have 1 year of free access to just market the shit out of them appropriately, not to beat them to death, but I have a. They have given me permission to market heavy to them for a year, and I will, if any one of these 5 people isn't on a paid program in under 60 days, I will be stunned and I'm doing it wrong, and I'll change the offer.
Okay. Well, I'm interested to see
Me
how that
too.
works because what you're talking about there, that might make sense. I was referring to trying to get them to buy the thing after you've given it to them for a year. But I can
Eventually,
see
after
I can
when
see the
when I
angle now.
when I offer it to the general public, which will be the beta tester level kind of stuff, I will have had that worked out. But I'm going to spend the next 30 days talking to these 70 people, qualifying the daylights out of them, making sure I'm asking the right questions. It's paid market research, and if I qualify them as heavily as you qualified, like you knew whether the guy was the right guy to take on for your first 2 or 3 SEO projects real quickly. And after you did your first 3 or 4, you were better at knowing each customer, got you better focused on what you wanted them to discover on their discovery call. And I'm using your discovery call model to,
Yeah.
Here's where they are, here's where they want to be, here's how you fill the distance here. What do you want to do?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, no, I can see the logic to it now, the way that was broken out. I was looking at it as a product, a product purchase, a free trial for a year. which I'm like, oh God, that sounds like a bad idea. But I see what you're doing now. It's not you're not really looking to sell them on that.
No, it is the positioning for an outrageous offer that's literally too good to be true. And the only reason I'm doing it is because you're an alpha tester. You're going to have to be patient with Charlotte. She's kind of young and she may make some mistakes. So I'll work it with that. But other than that, you got the system for free for a year. And all I want from you is these guys walk on water testimonial for our January 2025 rollout. So I've got two good reasons. You get it free for a year. Who wouldn't say, okay, I'll take a flyer at that? And then I get to have them on the call and find out if they're really somebody I want to work with, if there's somebody I can really help, and where they are in the value ladder. Because this whole thing goes from what I'm calling it's shift to TWOs because it's their second shift. So it's a shift to success is the first level, and it goes up 6 levels. The last one's time travel. So it's going to be fun.
All right. Well, awesome. Yeah, I'm going to be excited to see your progress on that one.
Or not.
No, I mean you're gonna at worst case you're gonna learn something, and we'll all learn with you.
Well, the thing is that I'm giving myself until Black Friday, and what I'm going to be doing was with each call, I will be modifying it slightly, and on Black Friday, then I will be, still offering the shift to success for free, but it'll be under a different, it may be just a slightly modified offer because the question I need to find out is, can I actually take this to a no contact sales? I'm not sure if I can do that. I wouldn't mind it being everybody onboarded with a call eventually, but I don't know if I want to make that level of investment. But basically, I'm talking about a $20,000 a year client, so I suppose I should be able to afford to get them on the phone for an hour to get them on board.
Yeah.
So,
Well, just for clarity too, like all the stuff that I've ever done, like you referred to the way I would qualify people for SEO, that was really simple. It was the first thing was I drove all the looky-loos out of the game by doing a 10x factor on the first month. And what that means is
okay.
what that means is if their program was going to cost them $1,000 a month, I knew the biggest objection was a long-term contract. And if I wasn't going to get 6 to 12 months with them to really make it work for them, it wasn't worth my time entering in that relationship. And if they have an aversion to doing a year contract, I'm going to not get the job anyway. So that was a huge objection to the offer. So I eliminated that. I said there's no long term, it's month to month, but the first month is a 10x factor as a setup fee. Because if you drop out after month 2, I need to cover all the work that I'm going to have to do up front to make this work for you. So if it was $1,000 a month, month 1 was 10 grand to get the ball rolling.
I'd forgotten that piece, John, and that one goes in the mix, and that answers one last question I had, and that's absolutely perfect, and that's all I needed. Yep.
So
keep talking.
so that was really my biggest factor for qualifying people is if they weren't willing to pay that 10x factor, I knew they were going to drop out in month 2 and I was going to get screwed. So no thanks, I'll pass you on to someone else. That was super easy. Every person that paid the 10x factor was with me until they died. Every one of them. It was a lifelong relationship because of the way we started it.
Perfect, John. That's absolutely true. And that was the one last thing that I had wrestled with, and I'd forgotten that point that you had mentioned before. So yeah, that makes it the whole thing. That was the last piece that I need to go forward right now. And I will know before Black Friday if I'm going to continue this through Black Friday or how how am I going to reposition this for Black Friday and a beta testing market? Because these alpha testers are really signing up quite literally. Let me test my program on your customers in real time. But seeing as how it's all after hours customers, it's going to be a little bit easier.
And the other one, I want to leave you guys with one more scenario that worked really, really well for me. And then, if nobody else has anything, we'll wrap it up with this one. But it was the way that I presented at Glacier Kennedy in 2000, I think it was 2011. I got the opportunity to be the internet marketer speaker for the Glacier Kennedy big event, their big annual event. And they have one internet marketing guy. And the year before was Frank Kern. So I was following in Kern's footsteps. And they wanted me to make an offer of $2,000 for an SEO package. So what I did, knowing that, most of the SEO packages I was doing were more than that, what I did was I said, here's the deal. The offer went something like this. The offer was, I'm not taking you on as a customer. What you're doing is you're filling out an application. There's a $2,000 application fee. And what you're going to get is you're going to get an hour call with me, not with someone else, with me. We're going to discuss your problem. We're going to discuss what I can do for you. And if we both decide at the end of the hour that you want to move forward with it, your $2,000 will be applied to your program and off we go. If either of us decides that it's not right and we don't want to move forward, I'm just going to give you your $2,000 back and you got an hour consult for free on the house. And I also said that I will not take on a competing customer. And what I meant was by area. Like if you're a dentist in Huntington Beach, I'm not going to take on another dentist within 10 miles of you. And you should have seen these guys. They all had the order forms in their hands and they're looking around to see, oh shit, who's going to get him first? Because I said, as you turn the order forms in the back, they're going to be numbered. And the way it'll work is if there's someone competing for you, I'm going to take the first number first. If it's a go, then you just get your money back. And if I pass on them, then you get a shot. So it literally created a frenzy at the back of the room of people getting their order forms in line so they could get that lower number to get the first shot at getting me. Because I told them, I said, the worst thing that you could have is me on the wrong side of you. If someone else is in your area and they get me, that means I become your enemy. And you're not going to beat me. So you want me on your side. And it really, it created a frenzy like I've not seen before. It was awesome. And I walked out the back door with $140,000 worth of orders. It was a pretty cool presentation. It worked really well. And out of the 70 applications that I took for 2,000 apiece, I think out of 70, I think I took on probably 60 of them. That was 10, I just gave them their money back. So that's how I qualified that one. But again, it's qualifying with their pocketbook. That's the biggest thing. If they can't qualify with their pocketbook, they're going to be a pain in your ass. If you start a relationship with somebody nickel and diming you, it's not going to get any better. It's going to do nothing but get worse. And that is why I like to work with the manufacturers, not the local retailers, not the local businesses. Because every time it was always about money with them. Every single time. Unless it was the scenario, like when I started in working with resellers selling SEO, I couldn't get them to make the jump to go to manufacturers. For some reason, there was just some big mental hurdle there. And they all wanted to focus on the little local businesses. And I said, look, if you want to do that, here's how I would do it. If you told me I could only work with local businesses, and this was back in the days where the yellow pages still existed, the physical book, the doorstop. I said, here's what I would do. I'd open up the book, I'd look at whatever category I wanted. If it was a chiropractor, if it was a plumber, if it was a garage door repair, whatever it is, I'd open up the book, and if there was a full page ad, that would be the target. If there was no full page ad for that category, I'd move on. That tells me there's nobody willing to pay in that category. But you find the full page ads, and if there's two, you just pick one and you go to them, you make your presentation, you make your offer, and if they give you any hesitation whatsoever, that's when you say, I'm only really looking to work with one person in this space, in this area, and I was hoping to work with the best. That's why I offered it to you first. But if you don't want it, I understand. But could you give me a recommendation of who I should go to? Who's the second biggest? And that would usually stick a fork in it. I'd usually get the deal at that point. And if they were kind of an ass about it, I knew who was on the other page, the full page right next to them. I'd mention their name. Go, oh, okay, well, I got Jim down the street scheduled for another meeting. I'll go see him. Thank you for your time. Nothing like leaving a little fear in their heart. And usually it never came to that. But that was my diabolical plan from the get-go. All right. So anything else? Anything else you guys want to cover before we wrap up and go get into holiday debauchery?
Thank you, John. Have fun in Vegas.
Oh yeah, we're gonna go see the crazies. The crazies are gonna come out tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Hopefully I make it home.
Yeah. Be safe.
All right, guys. Well, some of you I might see Saturday. So maybe in costume, maybe not. I don't doubt from my side you'll see a costume, but all right, guys. Well, have a great Halloween and we will see y'all soon. Bye-bye.